In dealing with the subject of authority, there are a few things we must understand. And before we really appreciate this subject, it's important for us to know that authority is one of the vital ingredients for building kingdom and government. In the realm of God, one of the greatest business of God is building and advancing kingdom. The jealousy of every spirit is to see that his government and his dominion continually is established and spreads. That's one thing that pursues every spirit. That's one thing that drives every spirit. Spirits have an obsession to establish kingdoms and dominions because the realm is designed in that order. And so the moment God put man here, the first errand he gave him is to have dominion. Because his presence will be useless except as he's able to reflect the dimensions that are in the heavens on the earth realm. So the essence and the pursuit, the purpose of man's presence on the earth is to mirror heaven on earth. So that the dominion of God will extend from heaven to the earth realm, and God will operate as king and ruler in all of the dispensations of his creation. And so authority is one of the vital ingredients for building kingdom and government. That's why authority is too important. And so the idea behind this conference is not just for God to bless you. God will bless you and bless you abundantly. But you have come to this conference to be equipped to build kingdom, to build the government of God in your sphere of influence. If you are a doctor, kingdom must appear there. If you are a lecturer, kingdom must appear there. If you are a lawyer, kingdom. That's why this conference has been put together. It's not just for to give you food to eat. By the time we begin to go further, you discover that those things are byproducts. You are too important in God's agenda to be begging for food. Food is supposed to be byproduct. The reason you are drawn to God is for something superior. And so when we are talking the business of authority, we are looking at establishing kingdom. In fact, there are three forces that kingdom rides on. The first is the will of the king. Every king and every spirit has a will. And so when a spirit wants to take over a territory, he defines his will to the agents and the agencies that are in that territory. Their ability to articulate the will of that spirit is the first sign that they have been brought into the equation of kingdom. But it's not enough to know the will of a spirit. When you receive the will of that spirit, you must also understand how that spirit intends for his errand to be run. And that is where wisdom comes in. So the second ingredient for building kingdom after the will of God is the wisdom of God. There is a way God builds. He said, ensure that you build according to the patterns. You can't build by your own discretion. There is a pattern in the spirit that you must conform to. And so when a man wants to build kingdom, in addition to articulating the will of God, he must be brought into the equation of wisdom. He must tap from the frequencies of Zion and download it to the earth. Even the ark that Noah built, God told him, look at the dimensions. Don't be creative here. This thing you are about to do has its root in eternity past. It's older than humankind. It's a technology that is aged. You have come into something that is too old. You can't bring creativity into it. The patterns have been designed. And so for you to be effective in divine agenda, you must tap into wisdom. It's the second thing that builds kingdom. The third thing that builds kingdom is authority. Now that you have the pattern, you need the authority, the force, the power, the ability to bring it to pass. Because you will have oppositions. There are other functionaries that will negate what God wants to do. And so when you get God's wisdom, get God's will, then what caps it all is authority. In this conference, we want to look at the authority side of kingdom development. We want to look at the authority side of kingdom agenda. That is why we are gathered. Authority is the power of God delegated to man for man to represent God. Authority is a different type of power. There are many words for power in the realm of God. There is a word called alke. Alke is the word for power that people like governors, that's how they are defined. You know, there is a power that comes by influence. You know, Solomon was ordained king, but there was a time when he began to reign. Because there are many people who are kings, but they don't reign. There are many people who are apostles who don't have influence. There are many people who are governors who don't have influence. So when a man has influence to make things happen, he's called Alke. The reason people gathered here is because Pastor Landry has Alke. So the moment he put a conference together, everybody wants to come. It's not because he's called House on the Rock. It's because there is Alke. That Alke is why you don't have space anywhere. That's a dimension of power. There's another word for power called anagazo. Anagazo is compelling force. When you speak, your words become like law. It persuades and compels people. And so when a man has an alcazo, he's a master. He's good at transactions. That kind of authority is what a marketer needs. A banker will use an agazo. Why a governor will use alke? Why a governor needs influence, a banker needs persuasion. So that when he talks, he will open an account. A car dealer needs an agazo. When he talks, you must buy the car. Even if you don't have money, you go and borrow and come and buy. You won't know what. It's when you go home, you say, why did I do this? You were manipulated by an agazo. It's a dimension of power. There's another power called exousia. Exousia is positional authority. Exousia is what gives you the ability to give commandments and creatures obey. So when a man has exousia, if he talks, demons will respond. It's a type of power. There's another power called dunamis. That one is the ability to create change. So if I come into this meeting and I want to deal with demons, I don't need dunamis. I need exousia. But if I want to demolish cancer, I will need something that will move like electricity. It will enter you and scatter the cancer. So the power that creates change is called dunamis. There's another power called iskus.